Welcome back to EdZ, your personal AI tutor. Today we are revising Class 11 English for CBSE Class 11, and our chapter is The Laburnum Top by Ted Hughes. I am Gaurav, and with me is Swati. Keep a notebook nearby if you have one, but you can also simply listen and think along. One small bird changes the entire mood of the tree, and that is exactly our entry point today. We will map the poem, explain its images and sounds, ask recall questions, discuss common confusions, and build exam-ready answers. If a doubt appears while listening, hold it for a moment and try answering before we reveal the idea.
And do not worry if poetry sometimes feels indirect. We will not rush to memorize lines. We will ask what we see, what changes, which words create that change, and why the poet has chosen those words. By the end, you should be able to explain the poem as a sequence of stillness, sudden activity, and renewed stillness.
Let us begin with the learning map. First, we will picture the laburnum tree in the afternoon September sunlight. Next, we will follow the goldfinch as she enters the tree. Then we will understand the machine and engine images, examine sound and movement words, and interpret the ending. Finally, we will practice the textbook questions and answer writing points.
Consider the first picture. Before the bird arrives, is the tree noisy or quiet? Is it full of fresh movement? Or does it appear almost lifeless? The opening gives us a very controlled, peaceful scene. That first impression matters because the later change will be judged against it.
The answer is quiet and still. The laburnum top is described as silent and quite still in the afternoon yellow September sunlight. A few leaves are yellowing, and all its seeds have fallen. So the tree is not presented as actively flowering or visibly flourishing. The atmosphere is calm, subdued, and almost empty.
The dominant color is yellow. We see it in the sunlight and in the leaves that are yellowing. Notice how color supports mood here. Yellow sunlight may look warm, but the yellowing leaves and fallen seeds also suggest a scene that has become quiet and inactive. The image is beautiful, yet it is not energetic.
Exam point: do not describe the opening merely as a pleasant natural scene. Include the specific details that create stillness, silence, the quiet tree, yellowing leaves, fallen seeds, and the afternoon September sunlight. These details show both visual beauty and a lack of movement.
What does laburnum mean? The glossary describes it as a short tree with hanging branches, yellow flowers, and poisonous seeds. The poem mentions its seeds, but the focus is not botanical description alone. The tree becomes the stage on which the goldfinch brings sound, movement, and family activity.
That is an important distinction. The laburnum is not treated as an isolated object. At first, it seems empty, but its importance becomes clear when the bird enters. The tree provides the setting for the bird's activity, and the bird changes the way we experience the tree.
Quick recall. Name three details from the opening that establish stillness. You could mention the silence, the stillness, the yellowing leaves, the fallen seeds, or the quiet afternoon sunlight. Any three, explained clearly, can support a strong short answer.
Now, the turning point arrives with the word till. The tree remains still till the goldfinch comes. This small word creates a boundary between two states. Before it, there is silence. After it, the poem suddenly becomes active, audible, and full of vibration.
The goldfinch enters with a twitching chirrup and a suddenness, a startlement at a branch end. These expressions make her arrival feel abrupt. The bird does not drift slowly into the picture. She appears with quick energy, and the quiet scene is interrupted almost at once.
The poet then compares her movement to that of a lizard. She is sleek as a lizard, alert and abrupt. The basis of the comparison is the quick, smooth, watchful, and sudden quality of movement. It is not a comparison about color. It is mainly about agility and sharpness.
This is a common place where students can lose precision. If the question asks what the bird's movement is compared to, answer lizard like movement. If it asks for the basis, explain that the bird moves swiftly, smoothly, alertly, and abruptly. Do not write only that the bird looks like a lizard.
She enters the thickness of the tree, and then a machine starts up. Notice the force of the verb enters. The bird moves into the dense part of the tree, and that movement activates the hidden life around her. The tree is no longer just a silent shape in sunlight.
What changes after the goldfinch enters? We hear chitterings, a tremor of wings, and trillings. The whole tree trembles and thrills. So the change is not only visual, it is also auditory and physical. We can almost hear the activity and feel the vibration spreading through the tree.
Exactly. The bird brings a sudden concentration of life. The tree appears to respond through trembling and thrilling. The source presents this as vitality, flourishing in nature. The goldfinch is therefore not a decorative detail, she is the force that reveals the liveliness hidden within the quiet setting.
Let us test the sequence. First, the tree is silent. Second, the goldfinch arrives suddenly. Third, she enters the thickness. Fourth, sounds and wing movement begin. Fifth, the entire tree trembles and thrills. Keeping this order clear will help you answer questions about the movement of thought.
Up till we have covered the first major idea, the contrast between stillness and sudden activity. The opening gives us a quiet tree, while the goldfinch transforms that quiet into a lively scene. Now we need to understand why the poet uses mechanical images for this natural activity.
The image of a machine starting up is striking. We usually associate a machine with parts, sound, movement, and energy. Here, the bird's entry sets off chittering, wing beats, and trilling. The comparison makes the tree seem like a living mechanism that suddenly begins operating.
Why is the image of the engine evoked? Because the goldfinch is shown as the engine of her family. Her arrival and activity energize the family space inside the tree. The engine image suggests a central source of power, movement, and functioning. It also connects individual life with the larger natural environment.
I want to clarify one thing. Does calling the bird an engine make the poem cold or mechanical? Not really. The mechanical image is used to communicate the intensity and coordination of living activity. Chitterings, wings, and trilling combine like moving parts, but the result is still the warmth of family and nature.
That is a useful interpretation. The image does not reduce nature to an artificial machine. Instead, gives us a vivid way to imagine how one bird can activate an entire space. The goldfinch gathers resources for her family and fills the tree with energy, as the source explanation indicates.
Now think about the phrase, she stokes it full. Stoking suggests feeding or supplying a fire or engine so that it continues to work. In the poem, the goldfinch fills the family space with activity before moving out again. The phrase strengthens the impression that she sustains the life within the tree.
The phrase also links the bird's movement to responsibility. She is not merely passing through without purpose. The image of the engine of her family suggests that her presence has a role. The poem therefore presents connection. The bird, the family, the tree, sound, and movement are part of one living scene.
Here is a recall question. If you had to explain the engine image in 2 sentences, what would you say? Think first. Mention the goldfinch's central role in her family, and then connect that role with the energy and activity that fill the tree.
A strong answer would say that the goldfinch is called the engine of her family because she provides the driving energy for the family's activity. Her entry starts the chittering, wing movement, and trilling, so the image expresses both her importance and the vitality of nature.
After this intense activity, the goldfinch flits out to a branch end. The verb flits suggests a light, quick movement. She does not make a grand exit. Her movement remains delicate and swift, matching the alert character already established by the lizard comparison.
At the branch end, she shows her barred face identity mask. This is one of the poem's most discussable images. The barred face suggests the distinctive markings on the bird's face. The word identity connects those markings with the bird's individual character and recognizable presence.
So, should we read identity mask as a literal mask? No. It is an imaginative expression for the barred facial pattern that identifies the goldfinch. It also suggests uniqueness. The bird briefly presents a feature that makes her recognizable before she moves away from the tree.
This is a good example of imagery doing more than one job. The face creates a visual picture of the face, gives the bird an identity, and keeps the description vivid. In an answer, avoid claiming that it refers to a human disguise. The source supports facial markings and individuality.
Let us listen to the sound pattern through the words themselves. Chirrup, chitterings, tremor, trillings, whistle, and whisperings. These words do not merely tell us that the bird makes noise. They allow the poem to imitate a layered natural soundscape.
The source asks you to note down sound words. A supported list includes chirrup, chitterings, trillings, whistle, and whisperings. Tremor is connected with the movement of wings and the vibration of the tree. When listing words, explain what each contributes instead of presenting a bare list.
The poem also asks you to notice movement words. Think of comes, enters, trembles, flits, launches, and subsides. These words create the poem's changing rhythm. Some describe the bird, while others describe the tree or the final reduction of activity.
There is a useful progression here. The goldfinch comes, enters, and flits. The tree trembles and thrills. Later, the bird launches away, and the laburnum subsides to empty. The verbs make the structure visible. They show arrival, activation, departure, and return to quietness.
The source also asks about words containing the sounds ch, as in chart, and t, as in trembles. You can look at chitterings, chirrup, and chattering like sounds for the first pattern, and tremor, trembles, and trillings for the second sound family. Read them aloud to hear the effect.
I would add a caution. Do not turn this into a claim that every sound has one fixed symbolic meaning. The safe point is that repeated consonant sounds and sound-related vocabulary make the poem more lively and musical. They support the contrast with the silent opening and the empty ending.
Quick challenge. Which words would you choose to show that the poem is heard as well as seen? Take a moment. Your answer should include some sound words and then explain that they represent the bird's calls, wing movement, and the lively response of the tree.
A compact answer can mention chirrup, chitterings, trillings, whistle, and whisperings. These words create audible movement and make the scene vivid. If you add tremor, explain that it suggests the vibration caused by wings and the activity within the tree.
At this point, the poem is full of life, but the energy is not permanent. The goldfinch gives a delicate whistle, chirrup, whispering, then launches away towards the infinite. The sound becomes softer, and the movement carries her beyond the immediate tree.
Now we are entering the structural heart of the poem. The beginning and ending are connected because both show the laburnum in a quiet condition. However, the ending follows an experience of intense activity. Therefore, the return to silence feels meaningful rather than merely repetitive.
The final phrase says that the laburnum subsides to empty. The word subsides means the activity reduces or settles down. Empty does not necessarily mean that the tree has physically disappeared. It means the lively presence and sound have gone after the goldfinch's departure.
That distinction is essential. At the start, the tree is silent and still. At the end, it subsides to empty. Both moments are quiet, but the middle has shown us the life that can emerge there. The ending therefore makes the earlier silence seem like a temporary state, not proof that nature is lifeless.
Would you call this a cycle? Yes, in a limited and source grounded sense. The poem moves from stillness to activity and back to stillness. This rhythm mirrors the ebb and flow of life in nature. We should not add a larger scientific cycle that the poem does not explain.
The contrast is also a contrast of speed. The opening static. The goldfinch's arrival is sudden. The middle is crowded with movement and sound. The departure is swift, and the final settling is gradual. This changing pace is one reason the poem feels like a small scene unfolding before our eyes.
Let us make a three-part mental picture. Part 1 is the silent laburnum under yellow September sunlight. Part 2 is the goldfinch entering and activating the tree. Part 3 is the bird departing and the laburnum becoming empty again. This three-part structure is excellent for a summary answer.
A student may ask, Is the poem only describing a bird? Not quite. The bird is the immediate focus, but the poem uses her arrival to explore the relationship between a living creature and its environment. The laburnum becomes animated through this connection, and the bird's family activity becomes part of the tree's identity.
The first major theme is vitality in nature. The tree seems inactive, but the goldfinch reveals that life and energy can appear suddenly. The poem invites us to notice movement and sound, even in a setting that initially seems empty.
The second theme is interconnectedness. The tree provides a place for the goldfinch and her family, while the bird transforms the tree into a lively center. The source describes this as a relationship in which every element contributes to the broader narrative of life and nature.
The third idea is the temporary nature of vitality. The goldfinch's presence is brief. She comes, creates activity, shows her identity, and leaves. The tree then returns to quietness. The poem does not present this temporary quality as meaningless. The brief activity makes the scene memorable.
There is also an important contrast between appearance and reality. At first glance, the tree may seem lifeless, yet the arrival of the goldfinch reveals hidden activity and connection. The poem teaches us to look more carefully at quiet, natural spaces instead of equating silence with the absence of life.
Around the middle of our revision, here is a useful EDSI style study move. After this mini recap, try explaining the poem aloud as if you were teaching a friend. Still tree, sudden goldfinch, machine-like activity, identity mask, departure, and quiet ending. Teaching the sequence checks whether you truly understand it.
Yes, and if you cannot explain why the engine image is used, that is the exact doubt to solve rather than something to memorize blindly. The poem becomes easier when every image is connected to an observable detail such as sound, movement, family activity, or the contrast between silence and energy.
Let us clarify the words that carry the poem's movement. Sleek suggests a smooth, streamlined appearance or movement. Alert suggests watchfulness and readiness. Abrupt suggests something sudden or unexpected. Together, these three words present the goldfinch as agile, attentive, and quick.
Chirrup is a short bird call. Chittering suggests a series of light, repeated sounds. Trilling suggests musical, repeated notes. Whisperings creates an impression of soft sound. These meanings should be explained in relation to the scene because the poem uses vocabulary to make the bird's presence audible.
Tremor means a slight shaking or vibration. Trembles and thrills describe the tree's response in different ways. The tree trembles physically, while thrills suggests an excited, lively response. These words help us see that the tree is poetically presented as responding to the goldfinch.
Flits means moves lightly and quickly. Launches means moves off with force or purpose. Subsides means settles down or becomes less active. These verbs create a clear sequence: light movement at the branch, departure towards the infinite, and the gradual reduction of activity in the laburnum.
Now answer this without looking back. Which word suggests that the goldfinch is watchful, alert? Which word suggests a quick light movement, flits? Which word describes the final settling of the tree, subsides? These small checks are useful because vocabulary often becomes evidence in interpretation answers.
Let us take the first textbook question. What do you notice about the beginning and end of the poem? The strongest response is that both begin and end in quietness, but the ending comes after the goldfinch has created a brief burst of sound, movement, and life.
For the second question, what is the bird's movement compared to, and what is the basis? It is compared to the movement of a lizard. The basis is the bird's sleek, alert, abrupt, and agile movement as she enters the thickness of the tree.
For the engine question, include the exact chain of meaning. The goldfinch is the engine of her family. Her activity supplies energy, starts the sounds and wing movement, and fills the tree with life. The engine image therefore shows her central role in the family and the lively natural scene.
The question asking what you like most about the poem allows a personal response, but it should still be supported. You may choose the contrast between silence and activity, the vivid sound words, the bird's movement, or the return to stillness. Give the preference and then explain why.
For the identity mask question, explain both parts, barred face and identity. The face refers to the visible barred markings on the goldfinch's face, which become a sign of a distinct identity. The answer should remain connected to the bird's appearance and individuality.
Let us do a rapid textbook check. Which question asks you to identify the dominant color? The note down section. Which activity asks you to find a local bird similar to the goldfinch? The find out section. Which activity asks for 4 lines on a tree? The try it out section.
The find out activities also encourage connection with local language and local nature. You can find what the laburnum is called in your language and identify a local bird that resembles the goldfinch. These tasks extend observation and multilingual learning without changing the poem's central interpretation.
The creative task asks you to write 4 lines in verse form about any tree you see around you. A good attempt should observe one tree carefully and use clear images of its appearance, sound, or movement. It does not need to imitate every feature of Ted Hughes' poem.
We are entering the final exam focus section now. For a short summary, use the movement of the poem as your frame. Begin with the still laburnum in yellow September sunlight. Describe the goldfinch's sudden entry and the resulting activity, and conclude with her departure and the tree's return to emptiness.
For a theme answer, do not list only nature, life, and beauty. Explain the relationship among them. The goldfinch brings vitality to the quiet tree. The tree supports the bird's family activity, and the temporary change reveals the rhythm and interconnectedness of natural life.
For a poetic device answer, use the images actually supported by the poem. The bird's movement is compared to a lizard. The machine and engine images are metaphors for the sudden, organized energy of the bird and her family. The identity mask is vivid visual imagery for the barred face.
A common mistake is to write that the tree itself literally becomes a machine. The poem uses mechanical imagery to describe the sounds and movements that begin when the goldfinch enters. Another mistake is to ignore the ending. The return to stillness is essential to the poem's structure and message.
Another answer writing principle is to connect every interpretation with a detail. If you write sudden vitality, mention the goldfinch's arrival and the chitterings. If you write silence, mention the opening and the final subsiding. If you write identity, mention the barred face. Evidence keeps the answer responsible.
Here is one complete practice prompt. Explain how the poet presents the contrast between stillness and activity. Take a few seconds and organize 3 points. Opening stillness, the goldfinch's sudden activation of the tree, and the final return to emptiness. Add sound and movement as supporting details.
A model answer frame would say that the poem opens with a silent still laburnum under yellow September sunlight. The goldfinch enters suddenly and fills the tree with chitterings, wing tremors, and trillings. When she leaves, the laburnum subsides to empty, completing the movement from silence to vitality and back.
Let's recap the first half of the poem. We began with the laburnum silent and still. The yellow sunlight, yellowing leaves, and fallen seeds create a calm, almost lifeless appearance. Then the goldfinch comes with a sudden chirrup and enters the thickness of the tree.
The middle of the poem is energetic. The machine starts up through chitterings, a tremor of wings and trillings. The whole tree trembles and thrills. The goldfinch is called the engine of her family, showing that she is a source of activity and connection within the natural setting.
Then the bird flits to a branch end and shows her barred face identity mask. Her delicate whistle chirrup whisperings continue briefly before she launches away towards the infinite. Finally, the laburnum subsides to empty. The poem closes by returning the tree to quietness.
The important themes are vitality, the connection between living beings and their environment, and the temporary rhythm of activity and stillness. The key techniques include the lizard comparison, mechanical imagery, visual imagery, sound words, and movement words. Each technique helps us experience the scene rather than merely receive information.
Final challenge before we close. Without looking at your notes, say the poem in 6 steps: setting, arrival, movement, sound, departure, and ending. Then, explain one image in your own words. If you can do that clearly, you are recalling the poem conceptually rather than repeating disconnected phrases.
Let us close with the complete exam recap. The Laburnum Top by Ted Hughes begins with a silent tree in warm yellow September sunlight. The goldfinch arrives suddenly, moves like a lizard, and awakens the tree with chitterings, wing tremors, and trillings. She is the engine of her family, and her barred face identity mask suggests distinctiveness. After her delicate sounds and departure, the laburnum subsides to empty. Remember the common mistake? Do not discuss the bird without explaining the tree's changing state. Your next step is simple. Write a 5-sentence summary and one answer on the engine image. Then check whether each sentence uses a detail from the poem. If a doubt remains, use Edgy for an exact question and work through it step by step. I am Gaurav with Swati, and we will meet you in the next revision episode. Keep observing, keep questioning, and study with confidence.